Hey everyone, have you ever asked yourself, wait, what's the difference between a homeless person and a prepper? I'm going to share a true story with you today about my experience about transitioning from being just your regular, average, everyday homeless person to having more of a prepper mindset and the impact that it has made in this experience in being homeless. There is a big difference between being homeless and being a prepper. And one of the things that inspired me to start this channel was a prepper saying that the homeless have a lot that they could teach you. And yes, in some ways, we do have a lot that we could teach you, but preppers are a much different breed. You come at it from a different mindset. See, when you are a prepper, you are preparing for the worst possible outcomes. You are preparing for governmental collapse, economic collapse, supply chain collapse. You are preparing for weather outcomes and all these different things as a prepper. When you're a homeless person, you didn't prepare to become a homeless person. The reason why you didn't prepare to become a homeless person because you didn't expect it. So now all you got is the clothes on your back. Okay, and you go outside and you're like, hey, I'm out here. I got the clothes. I'm not even prepared. I don't even have the right sleeping gear. I can't even carry this right. I'm carrying 4 and 5 bags. It forces you out of necessity to be resourceful. And so preppers look at the homeless population as, oh, we're very resourceful. We're all of this. But see, this is what you're seeing is what it looks like when you're not prepared. See, a lot of people sit there and say, well, no, you have to get prepared because you're going to need to have these things. Because as a prepper, you think that there was some sort of preparation done by the homeless person. And I guarantee you 9 times out of 10, there was no preparation, okay? There are stark differences between being homeless and being a prepper. So let me share with you my personal story and how I became a prepper, at least got a prepper's mindset, and what things actually changed for me. And a lot of it actually boils down to the gear that I have, because that is a big thing that will let you know if you're dealing with a prepper or if you are dealing with a homeless person or even a novice, okay? This is why the prepper side of my channel really never took off, because I was developing and becoming a prepper, but I was not a prepper in the way that a lot of the serious preppers take it now. Because growing up, it was, yeah, you can your vegetables, you grew your garden, you learned how to do your own repairs to your house. You were inexpensive. You did not spend money the way that you needed to. And so when I thought of prepping, that's the way I thought of prepping is, being prepared to take care of your house, make sure that even if you can't afford food, you've got food in the ground so that you can eat something. And then, hey, if it's winter, now you've got stored, fruits and vegetables and all that other stuff so that at least you can eat through the winter. Because my grandparents instilled in my mom the values of the Great Depression. So I thought that was what prepping was, okay? And that's the way that I looked at prepping. But prepping is so much different than that, because you are preparing for a government collapse. And again, I am learning this on the go because I'm now changing my mindset. Because as a homeless person, it's like, okay, I'm outside. I need to, figure out all the different services. So, first thing that you do is you figure out services. Where do I get my shower? Where do I get my clothes? Where can I sleep? Where do I get my food? Where do I get the necessary equipment and stuff like that I need? What resources are out there in the community? That's the first thing that you're going to do, like day 1 through like 7 when you become homeless, because it takes a minute to find all the different things. And then all you're doing is you are fighting and scratching to, find a job, survive, manage your skills, blend in and not look homeless because you don't want to deal with the discrimination, and then a lot of the self-guilt that you carry around with you. Okay. And so instead of taking that mindset this time around, okay, which I never really carried the self-guilt. I never felt bad about being homeless. But a lot of the other stuff, you try and blend in. You don't really want to, there's a negative stigma. And, a lot of people, especially when you first become homeless, you believe in that whole thing that, only drug addicts are homeless. And then next thing you know, you're homeless and you're thinking, well, I must be the exception to the rule because I'm not a drug addict, but all these homeless are. And then after, 2, 3, 4 months, you start realizing that all of your preconceived notions and all those myths were incorrect, okay? So one of the things that kind of changed my mind was looking at the gear, okay? because when you're homeless, your gear gets broke down so much. Versus being a prepper, what you're doing is you're looking at your gear and you're looking for durable gear, something that's going to last long because you anticipate that you cannot replace it. Now, this is a mentality and a preparation that a homeless person, if they're about to become homeless, should look into. But do they, will they, can they, did they think of it? Probably not. But that again, there's the difference. And so now, instead of going out there and buying a cheap $200 bike when I started, because I started this whole journey on a bike. For those of you that are new here, I rode 1,000 miles on bike before I gave up the bike because I hate riding bikes. Okay, I will not ride a bike ever again. But that was $1,000 bike. That was an entry level bike. Okay, so I did not go cheap. I got quality gear because as a prepper, you're thinking about quality, durability, and all these different things. And so now that has changed my mindset. Now, I mean, when I'm housed up, I think like that. But being homeless, you just take whatever it is you can get because you don't expect it to last long, and you're hoping that you're not going to be homeless that long anyways. Okay, so with all of that happens, you are now, you're now starting to get gear. Having a first aid kit. I've had a first aid kit, kind of, sort of, but nothing to the level in which I've built out. Although it got stolen, I had a really nice first aid kit that I built out on my own, and it was very useful, especially when I was on trail. When you're traveling and you're getting bit by spiders and you got 4 spider bites on your butt, not fun, and you can't really do anything about it except for just drain them, clean them, and bandage them because you're wearing the same clothes for a week as you travel 300, 400, 500 miles a month. Okay, that's what it's like being on trail, like long term, or if you're constantly going. Okay, and so as a homeless person, you tend to be static. You will travel, but you're going to travel by bus, you're going to travel by train, you're going to figure out other ways, you're going to hitchhike. Versus a prepper is not really thinking about that. They're thinking, I need to go from point A to point B, and so that is something else that I've adopted. And it has moved me all around the country in different places. I mean, I've been as far west as Louisiana this time. I've been all the way up here to Cincinnati. I've been all the way down to, Kissimmee, Florida, which is as far south as I've gone this time. And that's kind of where I'm going. But I have, there is a major difference between being a prepper and being a homeless person. And although you may look at the homeless and go, well, we can learn some things from you, understand that you will never experience a lot of what the homeless experience up until a certain point. Now, let's say, we have a Great Depression. Let's say we have an economic collapse, a supply chain collapse, all that stuff. Now, what you get to see the homeless and how they live and how they are resourceful and stuff like that. Because, I mean, my backpack only lasted 7 months. SHTF is going to last a lot longer than 7 months if you're a prepper and you're preparing for it, okay? So you got to have stuff that's going to last 5 years or longer. You got to be thinking of that. And then you get the damn tough socks. Okay. From what I hear, those are socks that they're so good, you always get a warranty replacement. Well, what if you can't get a warranty replacement? Either because of the roads, because of the mail, because of this, because of that. Okay. There's a lot of different reasons why that could happen. Okay. So yes, you have all this durable gear, but also in the same sense, you have to prepare to build out as if you're going to have to scavenge for the rest of your gear. Now, that is where the homeless come in, okay? And that is where I can now straddle both worlds because, I've gotten used to scavenging. Does that mean you as a prepper will not? No. Give it about 3 months and you will see so much stuff on the ground. You're like, I just can't walk by this anymore. Because you're in the community, who wants what and what's tradable, what's not tradable. Now, all of a sudden you start looking for that, and now you start looking at tradable resources. Now, that will be something that evolves over time, but as homeless, we're already preconditioned for that because that's kind of how we survive out here. When I had my replacement backpack, I took my old backpack and I looked to trade it away. Hey, does anybody see value in this? Because it's a 75-liter backpack. It's very rare out here. People don't have them, even though it's a little dilapidated, yada, 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 okay? I found somebody that wanted it. I ended up giving it to him because it was a lady and she really needed it. And I couldn't find anybody that could trade me. So I figured I'm not carrying this thing around. I'll just give it away. And if I can't give it away to somebody that wants it, I'll just throw it in the trash and let some scavenger come by and get it before the trash man comes. Okay. Because within the homeless community, that's the way you think. And through the housed community, because you're preppers, you don't really think about that. So when you see a homeless person doing that, you're mesmerized by that. But this is something that you will evolve into. When you see a homeless person, kind of think of it from this point in time. They've been experiencing SHTF for anywhere between 1 to 5 years. Is like if that were you. Okay, if this were you and you were in that situation, like walk a mile in their shoes. So a year after, and you see some guy, or it may be 5 years after, SHTF, but they're going to show you your progression. Our lifespans are going to drop down. And so because of the harshness of being outside, the homeless, we have that characteristics because we're forced into it. Does that mean that you as a prepper cannot do that? No. Now, the homeless do bring some things as far as learning how to just deal with it. They show you your ability to adapt because all homeless are humans just like you. So if they're human and they can adapt, what does that mean for you? Okay, so I just wanted to share with you guys my personal story of going from just being your normal everyday homeless person to kind of having that prepper mindset and kind of how it's changed with, starting to think about gear and thinking about all the different things in which I need. And quite frankly, just in conclusion, it has made my overall experience better because I have people that I see on the side and they're hurting in some way, and I now have the supplies to be able to take care of them. If you are a prepper, that is something that you should get used to, kind of have the mindset that you're just going to be a mobile medic. And as you come across people, you better have the proper medical supplies because I think that is going to be the greatest asset and the greatest learning. Now, there is a guy, I think it's Bear Nation or something like that. He is a former combat medic, I think. He does a complete class on it. I'm not an authority on it, so how can I tell you what to do? This guy not only was in combat, but he patched up soldiers, and he had the proper equipment and tools, so he knows what he needs and what is not going to work for him. And he's a pretty cool guy. I think you guys like him if you haven't watched him already. But as far as me, if you want to come over, check me out. You can check me out on Patreon. I am going through and really trying to build the audience there. So if you want to participate in the nightly live streams after 30 days, I am going to be putting it behind the paywall. At least that's my intent. It may take me a little bit longer because I want to build enough of an audience. Okay, so I'm asking you $5 a month, $10 a month, either platform. Any and all platforms. As long as you're a paid member, you will get access to the nightly live stream, which is now being dubbed the Proof of Life live stream that will be done around 8:15 or so every night until we choose a different time. But anyways, thank you. I'd love to hear your comments in the down there in the comment section. Don't forget to share. I'll see you guys in the next video.